Okay, I think if I Okay, great. All right, sorry. Thank you, Lainey, for letting me do it. Thank you everyone for letting me record. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm so interested, Lainey. Tell me everything.
Okay, so the meditation that we did last week that helped us ground, I practiced it every day
Mm,
like you asked. And I've been trying to release a lot of things,
hmm
and I kind of had felt stuck. And I feel like that meditation really helped. And the reason why I had a very specific dream before this where I called for help and I literally blocked the door and wouldn't let the help in.
Oh.
But after this, literally, I think it was last night before, I had a dream. Okay, you're gonna laugh. But I I met a unicorn named Christine.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Okay, but there was three other unicorns or whatever they were, and this was real life looking horse. It wasn't like crazy rainbow bright anything. But there were three other unicorns that wouldn't let that unicorn to me. It recognized me. And finally there was a lady that showed up and just said, "You get out of here, skedaddle, let her through." And I just kind of felt like that was a breakthrough. And I think that that grounding and like that clearing really kind of helped me get unstuck a little bit.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear, Lainey. Did you change the the tube at all? Like did you
I
wait, did she
did.
leave? Oh
No,
wait, there you went.
no.
Okay.
I
Lowered your
did.
hand.
I just
Oh,
lowered my
good.
hand. Yeah. No, I did change it. The first day it was really hard and rigid. Like what went
Uh-huh.
in was silver and white. What came out was kind of like, I don't know, a mess. But I never really saw what color came out after that because it wasn't a clear tube. But yeah, I did feel something. And
That's great.
I feel like I get more messages through about my subconscious about whatever's happening through dreams. So, yeah,
That's
the unicorn named Christine.
I love the fact that a unicorn came into your dream and was really that a unicorn came in and helped you find a way. Like you had to connect with that unicorn, and then finally, when things were blocked off or freed up from that block, did you and the unicorn connect? Did you hug? Do you remember anything like that, or was it just a I am now connected?
No, I it was very vivid. It was lucid in color. I
Oh,
remember the mud on the horse and very clearly the horse knew me, ran straight up to me and was so excited to see me and that she finally got to me.
I absolutely love that story and really want you, Lainey, to draw a picture of that. I want you to draw a picture for yourself
Mm,
because, and I want you to make sure that you have it in a space that actually I want you to draw the picture of it and frame it for yourself because sometimes, because life, there's a connection and then it goes down and there's a connection and it goes down. You are going to need to remember that how connected and how you broke through. This is a very monumental moment for you.
I believe
So,
that.
yeah. So, yay, excited.
So thank you for giving us that meditation. It was very
Uh,
useful.
I'm so happy to hear that. Who else would like to share from last week? Tammy, I think you had something. I would love to hear.
So can you hear me? Because my
Yes,
phone is seriously possessed. Oh my God.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. Because all I'm seeing is like Facebook stuff. Anyway,
Okay.
so I did the meditation and I've been kind of not deliberately channeling, but so I've been focusing my energy on constructing the tubing out of like things like Legos and crayons and
Nice.
feathers and because I guess you talked about building the mental muscle of like our spiritual connection and I never really made that connection before. It's like visualization was and I'm an artist. It's always been really hard for me in meditation. So I really like found that like breakthrough in that. And it's so weird because I had a dream about a unicorn. I was like,
What?
I know. And but mine was not that vivid. And I was like, wait a minute, are there unicorns jumping around in dreams? but unfortunately, I do not. It was not that vivid. But I don't know. Anyway, it was just like, um,
Could you would you be willing to share a little bit about that dream with us?
no, I mean, my dream wasn't as vivid. I just remember dreaming about like dancing unicorns and like being friends with them, and and in my my tubing was made out of crayons, so I'm coloring with my crayons. And one of the things as an adult that I've always struggled with doing, and which I've been like, I don't know if I'm actually doing it, but I'm thinking about doing it, is learning to like play and get in touch with my inner child. And in my dream, I was kind of like coloring with the unicorns, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. I think that's,
But so what's this symbolism with unicorns, and why are we dreaming about them? Because
well, I
it's
think,
not something I normally think about.
well, one, so I'm going to answer that question. What I think, I'm going to answer that question for what I think. There are many people on here. There are many ideas of what you think as well. So let's, but I have an idea that, I apologize. Um, I have an idea that, there is a, in this whole, when you are, you, there's truth in all religions. Like there's truth in lots of things, right? There's little bits of truth here and there. You got, can you hear my dog at all? Is that, can you, I just need to know, do you hear a squeaker or not?
No.
No.
Okay, good. You do, Whitney, you don't, or
I
you
just
do?
heard I heard some kind of feedback, but it didn't sound like a squeaker.
Okay, well, he's got a squeaker
It's
and
fine though.
usually,
I mean, I'm not
okay,
bothered.
okay. So, when it, I just go into what I know of the Bible, which is not a lot. Um, yeah. I it's the being a child of God, like you're a child of God. I know I don't want to make this into like a whole religious sort of thing or a Christian sort of thing, but just in how I grew up, and for the background that you understand, I did grow up going to Catholic services every week, um, and the whole gamut. Not that I can do any verse or anything like that. That was not my experience. But my experience when I was there is that the heart of a child and the soul of a child is one of the most prized things because there's such a trust. So when I think of a unicorn and I think of playing with a unicorn, there is such trust and such a pureness of heart that is like who you truly are. And when we have dreams, we travel. And when we travel, we have this experience of the other side. And I think like when the things that you think about when you're like a young girl, and maybe this isn't exactly the thing that you would think about, but normally it's like rainbows, butterflies, unicorns, happiness, like colors and sweet things and flowers. And you're like, that's what we're taught as little girls, right? Not that that's necessarily uh the right thing, and there's no real right and wrong in any of this, but there's this space of like a loving trust. And I see it like that, Tammy. I don't know if you agree with me at all, but I would love to hear what you think about that.
No, I do agree with that. I just find it, I mean, completely. Um, it makes sense when you say that. What is the connection of two people who don't even know each other dreaming about the same symbol like unicorns? I don't think about unicorns on a daily basis. I don't have small children living in my house. I don't see unicorns. It's not like what is that about per se?
Well, let me ask, did anybody else here that was here last week have a dream about a unicorn?
No.
No.
Just the two of us.
Megan, you did
Still don't
not?
know.
Because
I mean, it's very possible she tapped into me.
well, there is a collective consciousness. There's a collective energy. I'll talk about that just for a little bit. And it's a very, I mean, maybe that's what we'll talk about tonight, because there is a collective energy that happens. And one of my favorite stories about this, it was she's some famous author that I heard her I read her book, and she was writing a novel that was something that was like had to have a lot of, it was a time period, like let's say it was 1940 something. She did a lot of research on that time, a lot of like what they would have and how they would do it, and what the character development was this and that was this. And she had this book that was in the ethers for a long time. And somebody published a book that was exactly like her book, with almost the exact same things. Like it would have looked like as if they ripped it out of her like world, right? Like, I stole your notes, I cracked your computer or whatever. But what it ended up is that they had come up with this idea, two separate places at the same time. Because then we also have quantum physics that kind of goes in and around this. So we have a collective energy. Remember when we talked last week, we talked about how far away an electron is from a proton and how much empty space that is. And your vibration and your frequency, whether or not you're next to somebody, that's how I can do readings with it doesn't matter where somebody is. They could be in the other side of the world in New Zealand, and I will have I'll be able to connect with them, because there is no time, there's no energy that can't connect. So so you have that sort of connection process, and you also have the collective consciousness that's all working together. And then let me even make this a little bit more mind bendy, because why not? Then you also have the idea, well, okay, I have two more ideas. Sorry. Hopefully I can remember both of them now that now that I've gotten a little sidetracked, is that you have the whole other metaphysical idea is that everything that's happened in this life has already happened before, and we're having a memory of it. That we are on the other side, remembering what it's like to be Janny in this experience right now. Then you also have the idea that there is no time and space, and everything is happening right now. So like that. So there's a lot that I just talked about there that that I can go down any of those roads. What one do you want to go down?
So I've never heard the concept of we're remembering. I've never heard that one. Could you elaborate on that?
That the idea is that there is nothing that you could do in this. Let me say it in this way. It is a Course of Miracles sort of idea. So in the Course of Miracles, they talk about the idea that it's that you are safe on the other side, and that you have that you are just remembering what it's like to be. Because if you think about it, and you can almost do this, and I want you to try it this week just to see what it's like. If you can, so I can do this, and it may be more empathy, and there's a part that gets very concerning with me, because when you're empathetic, or you're a very highly sensitive person, sometimes you project instead of being empathetic. So I want you to find a place where you're people watching at some point this week. Anybody, I don't care. It could be for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be for a very long time. And I want you to imagine that you are that person. Because the other part that I didn't say, this, the one that I almost forgot, is that we're all one. That we're all sparks of the same piece of universe, having parallel existences, but we're all in that one experience, and maybe we're just one. So I want you, when you're people watching this week, we're going to do another meditation too, because we're talking about some heavy stuff here tonight. I want you to think about when you're watching, like Maybe I want you to pick two people, two different people, two different times. I want you to imagine, I want you to find somebody that's having a very, very hard time walking and moving in the world. And then I want you to find somebody who is a lot younger than you and is sprightly and jumping around and has a ton of energy and is experiencing a bunch of joy and sort of like their body is like they're bursting at the seams with joy. It could be a teenager, it could be a 5-year-old, it could be like any kind of, you're going 90 to 5, wherever, like very, very advanced in age, very young at age. It could, like I said, teenager and under. And I want you, as you watch them, to push your energy to see what it feels like to be them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So what does it feel like to be them? Does it pull your attention? Do you feel pain in your body when you look at them? And you're like pushing your energy there and you're connecting with it? Can you feel that? Now, I don't necessarily know if that's going to give you like an answer of that everything's on the other side, we're on the other side and we're just remembering this. But in that experience, there could be a space that opens up for you and gives you more information about your experience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. What you got, Lainey?
I was just kind of thinking sort of
Yep.
back to the dream and what you just said. I feel like the person that shooed the three unicorns away that wouldn't let the Christine through, the one that was my unicorn.
Uh-huh.
I felt like that was my higher self saying you have these are your blocks. You have to get out of here. And then it finally came through. So if we're all just remembering, or it, she's my higher self is kind of going, you don't belong here in this in this remembering, get out of here.
Ah, that's really interesting, isn't it? And there's absolutely a space where that could be that is true. And I would see how much of that is alive in you when you connect with it. Where is that aliveness in you? Does that feel more alive than something else? Now, the problem, I want to make sure I talk about this because the problem, and Whitney, I think you might have wanted to say something and I might be interrupting you. Is that true?
No, I was just wanting clarification. Like, you were saying that if you could tap into, how those people feel in their body, you were talking about you might get more information about yourself, but
Yep.
so yourself, not the other
Right.
people.
Well, you might get information about that. I'm not asking you to get psychic information from people. I don't want that. We're not in that. Like, I don't want you to be doing to try and like psychically get information about their lives. I just want you to like kind of feel, can you feel this in your body? Can you feel energy moving from them to you? Or I mean, you're more like in this intuitive energetic realm, I'm going to say, and I might change the name of what I'm calling this, but it's sort of like, I always call it like pushing your energy. Can you feel them? Can you feel what it would be like to be them having to walk? Maybe they're walking with a walker. Maybe they're a young person using crutches, having to pull themselves back. Maybe they're, maybe they're an exuberant child and the parents like, stop it, stop it, stop it. You know what I mean? Trying to pull them back. Like, can you feel them? Not can you feel them and get information? Because that's different. Okay. Does that make sense?
Can you
Yes.
do that with animals?
So hang on 1 second, Tammy. You got, okay. Whitney, I think I heard you say yes. Yep. Okay.
I said yes, mostly. Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
So Whitney, I'm glad you're, no, I really, for sure, keep talking. I want you to try it and just, so you don't have to, because some of this, when you're doing experiential sort of, trying to understand the energies that's around you and how you're moving forward with it, you're actually going to need to try it before you can think it, because this is more of a felt sense than it is a head
Okay.
sense. It may not make any head sense to you at all. But when it's a felt sense, it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Tammy, I heard you say, can you do that with animals? Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So if you don't, I mean, you can feel like because you guys have a puppy. So that's a great place to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if I can't find a 3-year-old, I have a puppy.
You could, girl, you are like right there by Steam.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I know right where you live.
That's true. That's true. That sounds
Okay.
creepy though. I know where you live.
I know that does sound creepy, doesn't it? Sorry, that does sound totally
No, that's
creepy.
I'm joking. I'm joking. That's not.
I'm sorry, everybody. I will never say that to. I don't know if anybody else would.
So does look out the window at the children walking by your house.
Yeah, but you're not. You're just going to be the cute little, the cute little lady trying to work with
That's
your
right.
energy. That's all you're doing. And the other thing that I want to say, because there's another what that word, I mean that this is just a dream. Now, one thing I do know is I don't know. That's one thing I do know is that I don't know. It's way above my pay grade in this sort of working with energy and getting people ignited into how to create a space that is community and driven to support and move you forward in life. Okay. So what other part of those really big, deep topics do you guys want to talk about? Or do you want to talk about something else totally? Because I would love to hear somebody else's experience. Because I think Marilee and Megan, you were on. If either one of you would be interested in sharing your experience. And Stacy, I think you were on too, right?
If we can go back, I actually am interested about just because um, well, about the idea that, past, present, current are all one. Like there's no difference. So, like when people talk about manifestation, it's like, you already have it. The idea of, asking for something, but it's already yours, but how does it, I don't know. I get confused by how that.
Me too, quite honestly, I do too. So I love this. Have you ever had an experience in life where you like slowed time down, where it seemed like you're like your 5 minutes felt like it was 30 minutes, or your 30 minutes felt like it was 5 hours, like you slowed time down? And so you were, anybody on here?
That happens when I paint.
That happens when you paint? Okay.
Yeah.
Lainey?
I
I
have
def-
to.
yeah, I definitely have too, but it's hard because like the healing community, it's hard to know if it's like, trauma response or if it's other things like
Well, I'm not
spiritual.
talking about dissociation. That's
Well,
totally,
that's what I'm saying. I have a hard
yeah.
time deciding whether like what I'm feeling is, if it's dissociation or if it's, yeah.
Okay. And Megan, you said no. Lainey, you had something to say, and I'll talk about that too as well.
I was just gonna say I have, but I never really like thought of it as something spiritual. I just think sometimes time flies and sometimes it doesn't.
I like that. I do like that. Well, there is a book, and I'm butchering this gentleman's name. It's Mahali Csikszentmihalyi, and he wrote the book Flow. Now, when I talk about flow, my dog has a squeaker in his mouth and he's just going nuts with it. And Zoom does such a great job of drowning out background noise now, but I can hear it. Um, um, so when I'm talking past, present, current, future, all in one, they're sort of like that is a bit time bending, right? Because you really at the same time are using everything's happening at once, even if you're 500 light years away from something, you could boom switch, right? Do you understand that, Marilee, with like the whole idea of that kind of concept?
Yes. Well,
Okay, good.
yes. I
So
don't
when
know what to make about of it. I mean, I don't understand. I do understand it, but I don't really understand it, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Well, what's always so interesting to me is, and if I will do, I'll make sure that I do some research to make sure that I'm saying the right thing now. I think I'm saying the right thing, but so they have done experiments in quantum physics, and in quantum physics, let's say something that isn't observed within the universe. Like something you wouldn't even care, like you're watching light move, right? They're watching light move, and light moves in a predictable fashion again and again and again. So they're not, at this point, it just does its thing. Light does its thing. Then they put a microscope and they put, they're watching, rays of light, and all of a sudden the ray of light understands it's being observed and it changes its pattern. Instead of a straight stream, goes to a wave stream, goes to a stream where it spreads out over there. So when we are observing, we're actually interacting with energy and space in time, which one is really cool. But two, wow. And if you think about it collapsing in, like sort of like if past, present, future, and current are all happening at once, and we're not saying it's true, we're just playing with concepts here, right? We're not saying any one is true because that would be insanity. We can't land down on anything because the truth is we are living in uncertainty. And how can you live in uncertainty and know that this is what's happening,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So when I kind of look at it, when I am doing a group reading and I'm there and I'm having all of these experiences and I'm talking with souls that are departed, and I'm talking with souls that are in front of me, and I'm connecting with them and I'm giving information to them, it is it can get very, very intense. And when it gets, and I'm thinking to myself at the same time, the Janny science brain in the back starts kind of kicking on, which is sometimes maybe a little bit unfortunate, but it happens. Sort of like, what is exactly happening in this? How am I connecting with somebody that's crossed and this person that's here, but it looks like time is actually happening? And I think the folding in is that time really isn't happening. That time in our world is happening, but in like maybe our world is this bubble over here, right? And then the rest of the world, there really is no time. So things are going so fast here, move, 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 or maybe they're going so slow and the other side is move. Because if you go, I mean, here we, if you go with the speed of light, Einstein, like if you go at the speed of light, there is no time. So when I connect with orbs and orbs are shooting through my house and they're everywhere, is there time on the other side, or are we just going that fast? When I hear NDEs and they talk about, it's very dense on this world. Earth is really dense. It's very dense. What if we're just going like so slow to them? We are so slow and they're just fushoom, fushoom, fushoom because they are at the speed of light. Extra credit points for anybody who can answer how fast speed of light is. Whitney, go.
I do not know.
Okay.
But I will say that for me, there were times when I knew that time was either speeding up or slowing down. And that was when I was Oh my God, I was just thinking, my brain totally. Um, when I was doing the like astral travel kind of stuff, where that definitely time was a bit fuzzy there, but I don't know the how fast the speed of light is.
Yeah, I think I have to look it up. I think it's 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd, I think. But Tammy, ask your husband real quick.
Oh, he's up in his studio listening to
Oh,
music super duper loud.
okay. All right. Okay, well don't ask him then. But that's kind of I mean when I'm saying like past, present, future, current is all happening at once, that is a harder concept for me too, Mary Lee. It's sort of like I can get the time speeding up, I can get the time slowing down, I can get time moving, sideways even, right? Like I have seen that happen as well or felt that happen in my life. But when I think about I want to share with you what just happened. Like I literally had an angel come over to me and go, when you figure it out, it's gonna be so I'm gonna tell you, we're never gonna figure it out here, but it is fun to entertain what kind of things and what kind of options are open because one of my biggest things to do with everybody here, um, is make it so that there isn't a metaphysical vacuum, so that there isn't a twisting of of metaphysical spiritual work to justify human interactions, or excuse me, justify human lower vibrations and frequencies. There, I don't know if I've actually really verbalized that to you guys.
No, but
Maybe I
I
did
love
last week.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lainey, what did you have to say? You came off mute too.
I just think it's really interesting, all of this that you're talking about. And they talk about Earth being a school. Um, so like, I don't know, not sure really what the question is, but it's kind of interesting. That's like, well, when you think about your life and how long school was, it wasn't very long. It was a blip,
True.
and we don't want to go back, but we learned a lot. Some of us don't want to go back. Yeah, it's kind of interesting in terms of like, but it's like, okay, well, what do we do with that? So if I'm here and I kind of think I'm starting to wake up and understand some things about myself, my spiritual self, as well as my physical self. Um, what do I do with that information about time? Like, how do I use it to my advantage, if you will? Like, how do I get out of school faster?
Oh, I love that. I kind of I'm gonna answer your question with a question though, Lainey. Are
Okay.
you sure we're in school?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying it's kind of, you've heard that. Like, what
I've
I,
heard that, but I want to say, what if you're an amusement park? What if you're here for fun?
that has come up a lot for me this week, and that I should have more play. I don't have a lot of play right now. But I kind of also believe in that idea that we chose to have these experiences, like what we were going to be here, or do, good or bad, before we got here. I kind of toy with that.
I kind of toy with that too, and then I think, is there really good or bad?
I
I
think
mean,
it's all experiences that we agree to one way or the other, that we as humans want to say good or bad.
all right, I like that. We as humans want to say good or bad. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely, I mean, I totally agree with that more than, so it's almost like an undoing of our thinking. That is also one of the reasons that I wanted to do this is undo our, how can we undo the world's thinking that has overlaid into our lives?
And do you think time slows down when we're really hitting on it, or do you think it's faster when we're really hitting on what we're supposed to be doing.
I think in Earth experience, my experience is that usually when we're having a good time and we're in the moment, that time slows down so that we can enjoy this time. Um, that's been my experience. I don't know if everybody would agree with what I'm saying. And I please come off mute and start talking at will. Anybody who hasn't, of course, anybody who's talked, but of course, anybody who hasn't talked, because we are talking about some big things. So I kind of want to hear where people are at.
So can
I
I
feel like,
bring up? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I just want to say real quick, I feel like it's the opposite for me, that when
Okay.
things are really good, it goes quickly.
I like that. What were you going to say, Tammy?
Well, I was just thinking because when you were talking about time, I was thinking about an experience I had about, I don't know, it's maybe been 9 months. I was in an accident and I hit my head. But I was thinking about when I was in the accident, as you were talking about it, I was remembering. So I remember like my feet being above my head, and I remember flying towards the door, and I remember thinking, gosh, I hope my head doesn't smash the stained glass window. It's a really pretty window. And then I remember hitting the door, and all of this happened within a second. And then, I don't remember it being scary or hurting or, I just remember how odd it was that time happened that way. I tripped over a gate and hit my head, and injured myself actually quite badly. But, it was just weird the way that it happened and the way that time happened. And then I remember time happening where I was in this painting and I was following this line in this painting, and it was a contour line. I love contour line. And the next thing you know, 3 hours had passed and it seemed like 2 seconds. So I don't know. I just think time is interesting.
It definitely is very, very interesting. And I mean, it's sort of is like the idea of playing with time, of going the speed of light, of no time, of slowing it down, of speeding up, of having those experiences. And most people have had the experience. If you've had a car accident, you were like, right? There was that oh my gosh, and you were going so um just like your accident you're talking about, Tammy,
Yeah.
having an accident that happens that you're like, wow, time just didn't do what I expected it to do, which maybe that's time violating human, laws of physics. I don't really know. I think it's really interesting to think about, and I think that it can be helpful in understanding, um, just in understanding how dynamic and engaging and deep that each of yours experiences have been and continue to move forward in. I think it's a fantastic way to call that into your space and into your awareness, because it's not something that we think about on a daily basis, right? We're not really thinking about these sort of things. It's not coming up like, let's talk about Earth like a school, or maybe it's a roller coaster, an amusement park, and maybe time stops and maybe it doesn't, and maybe, but the thing is, if you begin to play with those ideas and you're opening your mind, because when you're opening your mind, you're also then opening it up to spirit, for spirit to like have some more connection with you, because you're not closed off. An open heart and an open mind is what's going to pull in and what's going to pull in information and help to remind you of your own individual connection with source and guides, angels, deceased loved ones.
I'd be really curious to like combine time with that little exercise you gave us.
Ooh.
Like set a timer on your phone and observe, try to, feel what it's like to be that person and see if we lose time, gain time.
I like that idea. It's really interesting. And I didn't even think about it when I came home. I was coming, there was a short amount of time. I had to get here really quickly so that I could get back into my house from my mom's house to get behind my computer to talk. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I did that. I'm going to do this. And then I did that. I was like, wow. So I just made myself like a tea and I turned the water on and it was done. And it was very fast. Like that happened fast. And I went to the bathroom and then 2 minutes went by. I'm like, how did 2 minutes go by? Like that was so much time. And I'm like, I think like when you get in this hurried state, potentially, I like potentially, let me make sure I say that. Potentially, when you get in this hurried state, time is going and going and going, and you're freaking out and you're this and you're that, like time. But when you pull yourself back and you get that breath, and Lainey, I like how you're like pulling that idea in with time. And and to take that last week's work and pull it into this week's work. That's brilliant. I know there's some people who weren't here last week, so we're gonna probably have to do that meditation again, if you guys are okay with that.
It's a great meditation.
I just want to, I know that it is 8:59 right now, so I want to check in with everybody to see, can you go like 5 to 10 minutes over? I don't remember how long it took me last week. I didn't time it.
I can stay around.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can say.
Yes, please. I
Whitney?
would love to do the meditation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that will be fine. I can stay too.
Okay, Crystal, I'm going to assume that's a yes. And Megan, I'm going to assume yes. Okay,
Tammy's
there
a
you are. Me too. Okay. And Tammy too. Okay, good. All right. So I just want, okay, great. I want everybody to I do want your feet flat on the floor if you could do that. And is there nobody's like moving around doing stuff? Because this might be, Crystal, you might need to like stop multitasking. Not that I'm telling you what to do, but it might sound that way. Sorry. You have your own free will and can do what you want and what you need to. Okay. All right. So I so apologize for that. I did not expect that to be that much of an issue. Finding the right is definitely. So I want to pull you back to this meditation, and I recognize that some people had to leave, and I apologize to them, but they will pick this up later. So let's start over. Begin breathing from your belly, allowing every breath to become longer than the one before it. Your belly breathes up and out. Breathing up and out. Allow this relaxation wave to start from the top of your head. Move down the back of your neck, your shoulders, your arms. Breathing in and out. Do you feel your body melt deeper into your seat? Breathe in and out. Feel that deep wave of relaxation through your belly, your groin, your bum, washing over your quadriceps and your hamstrings as you feel your body melting deeper and deeper into the chair. Breathe in and out. Feel that wave continuing down your knees, your calves, to your feet. Going back and focusing your energy back to the bottom of your feet. And envision that you have 2 drains at the bottom of your feet. start here, connecting a tube from the bottoms of your feet to the center of the earth. Breathing in and out. You can make these tubes out of anything. It could be cardboard, tape, steel pipe, feathers, flowers, perfume bottles, whatever your heart desires now. You can make them different. They don't have to be the same. Breathing in and out, allowing that wave of relaxation as you started to think to bring back peace to your space. Breathe in and out. I want you to now focus at your tailbone, the bottom of your first chakra, and creating a tube, this third tube going to the center of the earth. Breathing in and out. I want you to take your right hand at the top of your head and imagine that you're opening up your crown chakra, signifying that you're ready for angels to step forward with an endless picture of healing light. The color is up to you. And imagine this angel starting to pour liquid healing energy into your crown chakra, and it starts to melt in through your body, your forehead, clearing out your third eye, any old energy leaving, out your throat chakra, down your shoulders, down the back of your neck as you breathe in and out. That liquid light is beginning to go through all of your body at a speed that is right for you, clearing out your fingers and your hands, releasing any energy that's been holding on. Breathing in and out. Allow that wave of energy of peace and joy to enter through your heart chakra, your throat chakra, solar plexus, breathing deeply into your chakras. Second in your root chakras. You feel that energy moving down your legs, and you begin to see and notice the energy leaving from your feet. You might feel your feet feeling tingly. Your tailbone area might start getting warm as you notice an energy that is a lower vibration and frequency leaving. It can be any color that is associated with what a muddy brown, it could be a dark blue, it could be any color, it could be water that you're seeing leave your body to the center of the earth to be transmuted back into love. You're taking any old, stagnant energy as your angel continuously pours in liquid healing love from the top of your head, and it's clearing out any old, stagnant energy that's not working for you anymore that you're wanting to replace. Breathing in and out. You're just in a space of noticing the energy leaving through your root chakra, your feet chakras. You're just noticing the energy leaving. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. You notice this is happening on its own. like it's floating. You can feel joy and a higher vibration energy moving through your fingers and toes. And you're starting to notice that the color of the light that's coming in, whether it be pink, purple, gray, brown, whatever is healing for you, is starting to match at your root and your feet chakras, at both of them, all three areas. The light keeps coming as you're healing your body and healing your chakras. We're breathing in and out. I'm going to count backwards from 5, and when we reach 0 together, the light going through your crown chakra, the color matches the color in both your root and both feet. Breathing in, enjoying this moment, breathing out. Breathe in, feeling gratitude for your space you've created right now, and breathing out. They're totally matched. I want you to energetically remove the tubes from both your feet. Close those drains at the bottom of your feet and remove the tube from your tailbone. Breathing in and out. And that creation transmuted back into love, back into peace, back into unity. Breathing out. Now the angel behind you is continuing to pour your golden, your pink, your purple healing light. And you can feel it coming down the top of your head, over your face, and beginning to fill up at your feet, beginning to fill up at your ankles, that energy is moving up your calves. Up your knees, paying any special attention to parts that could hurt, healing energies there. Moving up your hamstrings and your quadriceps. Breathing in and out. Connecting with your root chakra as you feel joyful, firmly grounded. Up through your second chakra as you connect with your personal power. Your third chakra is the power in the world, and yellow, beautiful yellow. You can see that spinning chakra healing and being joyful in that energy. Filling up through your heart chakra, you can feel your vibrations and frequencies within your body shifting and changing. You may be vibrating. You may feel a unicorn come to your heart chakra as you breathe in and out. Filling up through your hands, your fingers, paying any special attention to your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, as they stay relaxed and nicely in that shoulder girdle. Breathing in and out. Filling up through your neck, healing your voice, healing your inner voice and your outer voice with confidence, and your inner eye with seeing. As the angel keeps pouring and pouring, you're beginning to feel your auric field around you. There is a clearing and a dusting and an energy that is being released. You may hear popping. You may feel like static electricity as your body and your auric field, the energies are healed and released. And outflowing through the top of your chakra, you are completely filled. And I want you to take your hand and shut your crown chakra. Breathe in and out. Sit here for a moment and enjoy yourself. There's a warmth, there's a calm, and a peace that you have created with your angel. Breathing in and out. And I'm going to count back up from 0 to 5. And when I reach 5, you're going to be calmed. And you're going to enter the room back with me in 0, 1, 2, 3, feeling more awake, feeling more aware, hearing my voice louder. 4, 5, you're back in the room with me. Would anyone like to share what they felt? Or what you are feeling right now?
Very relaxed.
Yeah, I felt floaty.
Floaty,
I felt a
airy,
little vibration as well.
good. And that was Tammy and Lainey, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would anybody else like to share? And maybe not, and that's fine. Felt it. Oh, good. I'm glad for that. That's good. I think that I'm glad that this week that we're capturing in a way that we're also grabbing the chakras in our feet. Nice. Very peaceful and ready to move forward, taking care of myself. I love that. I love that. That's phenomenal. Thanks. Yeah, I think adding the feet chakra, I think, is really beneficial, the foot or both feet. I want you to practice this with all 3 of them for this week as we go into next week. I want you to do this at least once a day. I would love for you to grab some kind of like journal for yourself. And just kind of document what's happening for you so you can keep track of this along with any dreams that you find that happen as you do this, because you're very welcome. Thank you for letting me restart, because that was that music really kind of threw me there for a minute. I will be editing that part out. um uh I want you to do that. I want you to think about what we were talking about with time. Bring me any questions, any thoughts. I will, I welcome that. Oh, somebody is showing up now. I'm gonna add Darlene to this because I think Darlene was here last week. And yeah, she just got in. So Darlene, we're just finishing up. Don't go yet, okay, Stacy? I'll say one more thing because I want you all to hear this. Because every single time you come in, I will make sure that you are just your own first name. I don't want you don't have to be on screen. I am recording this. I will be putting it on YouTube. You will be able to listen to it there. I would suggest doing it if you want to hear it. That second time we hit that meditation was really a very powerful one, in my opinion. I thought that was pretty good. And the music wasn't terrible, wasn't great, but there's always room for improvement, right? It's continuous improvement up in here. Um, that's what I do. So, um, there's always room for improvement, and I am definitely, and anybody has like ideas or thoughts that they would like to share with me on what they would like, yay, Darlene, good. What they would like to add or take away or talk about, please email me. I'm always open, and I just appreciate so much you being here. I appreciate you coming, and I thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Janny.
thank
Thank
you. And
you.
of course, you're
Thank you.
so welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And I will be ending this every time with what my mentor, who I like, my friend, who I loved so very much, like oceans and oceans and waves and oceans and waves of love to you. Have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you next week. And it will be at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Moving forward. We're not going to do it at 6. I'm going to do it at 8. So sending you waves of love. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.